Hey everybody. All right, we're going to work through the practice exam. I'll probably stop. I'll make this into two videos. That way it won't all be on one, make it easier to find something if you want to. Let's see. So I'll work through question 15 here, and then we'll do the rest of it on a separate video. All right, so let's start off here. Question one. We got a diagram here. Price on the y-axis. Quantity on the x-axis. And we have some marks here, 1 at 30. We have a marginal cost going through here like this. And we have an average total cost curve going like this. Okay, so some intersections here. Right here, that's 18. That's 6 on the quantity. Right here, where marginal cost and this one meet, is 10. And also right here at 21 is when that meets. Okay. All right, so let's look at what we got going on here. Well, we're going to say the market price is $30. This is in a perfectly competitive market. But the price is $30. This essentially functions as the demand curve. And it's also your marginal revenue. You know, in this competitive market like this, it doesn't matter what you produce. You're so small compared to everyone else. It doesn't impact the price. This is the price you're always going to get. It's $30. So we know what's the firm's profit maximizing quantity. Okay. Profit maximizing quantity. And so we know they max profits at marginal revenue equals marginal cost. And we know that here price is equal to the marginal revenue. Okay. So they're maximizing profits when the price equals marginal cost. Price 30, marginal cost, they intersect right here. And so the quantity you have is 10. And so number one is going to be D. You know, that's 10. That's the quantity. That maximizes your profits. Okay. 2 here is asking if the market price is 30, what is the short run profit for the firm? Well, the short run profit of the firm, because we know it may not stay at this. That's the thing in the long run. You know, the price right now is above the average total cost, but in the long run, that trends towards, you know, where they're equal to each other. But here in the short run, there's some positive economic profits here. So to get our profit, we look at the price, we subtract the average total cost, and we multiply by quantity. This essentially gives us the per unit profit, P minus ATC. And so to get the total, we just multiply it by the number of units that are sold here. All right, so the price that we have is 30. Average total cost, when they're producing 10, there's average total cost right here, is 21. All right. And the quantity that's produced is 10. So $9 times 10. For each unit that's sold here, they're making a profit of $9. All right. That's the revenue they're generating on each unit that's above their cost per unit here, which is the average total cost. And so the total profit is $90. Okay, so that's A. All right, so we got one more with this one. This one was, at what price will the firm exit in the long run? Okay. Well, in the long run, the firm will exit at 18. Right? It's where the marginal, it's when price equals marginal cost equals average total cost. So if this price right here, the 18, all three of those will be equal to each other. Let's say if this price drops to 18, there's your demand curve. Well, now at this price, no one's going to, keep producing once it falls below that, because their profit would be zero at this point if it falls below this price right here. Okay. And so 18 is going to be the price here. So that's going to be B. You may ask, well, why is it not 21? Like if you're producing 10, if the price falls to there below 21, plus below your average total cost there at 21. Well, you're going to reduce your production. When this price falls, you're going to go down this marginal cost. It acts as your supply curve, and so you're going to reduce production. Okay, so it's going to keep reducing till you get here at 6, and at that point, the price, the marginal cost, and average total costs are all equal to each other. And if you fall below that, it's a negative profit. You're going to exit at that point. Okay. There. All right, so we have a table for this next one. Which all ones do I need? Let's try to draw this real quick. This is Bob's Brewery. This may take a second. And obviously, he serves pints of beer. And so we have these different quantities. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And we have our fixed cost. We have our variable cost. We have our total cost. We have our average fixed cost. We have our average variable cost. We have our average total cost. And we have our marginal cost. All right, so let's fill this in. The variable cost at 1 is 3. The total cost there is 23. Variable cost is 6. Quantity of pints to the producer 2. The total cost when 3 pints are produced is $29. Variable cost at 4 is 11. Total cost at 5 pints produced is 33. At 6, the variable cost is 15. 18 when you go up production of 7. 41 is the total cost at 8 here. Okay. All right. What we can do is answer these questions. What is the fixed cost when the 4th pint is served at Bob's Brewery? Well, the fixed cost is always going to stay the same. So if we can find out from one of these quantity of pints where we could do that, well, then we could solve it. And we could do this here at 1, because we have the variable cost and total cost. Remember, your total cost is equal to the fixed cost plus your variable cost. Right? Your fixed cost, these are things that don't change in production, things that you're stuck with regardless of whether you're producing anything or not. Variable cost changes, as your production changes. It's always going to increase as your production increases here. And so we have total cost, 23. Fixed cost we don't have. Variable cost we said was 3 here. Right? So we just subtract 3 from 23. And so our fixed cost is 20. It's always going to be 20. All right. That's what it's always going to be. So this is 26. Since it's 20 there, that's 9. This is 20, that's going to be 31. Since that's 33, that's 20, this is 13. This is 35. This is 38. And this is 21. So you can fill all those in easily by just make sure you know this formula, TC equals FC plus VC. And you should be able to fill all this rest of this part out. Now, what else are we asking here? What is the average fixed cost when Bob serves 3 pints? Right. Well, the fixed cost is always the same. It's always 20. And the average fixed cost is just the fixed cost divided by the quantity. The fixed cost is always 20. The quantity here is 3. So the average fixed cost is going to be 6.67. So that's B. That's number 5. And I said number 4, fixed cost is always 20. And so that's going to be C for that. It's always 20. Oh, it's number 5, sorry. That's number 5. All right, the last one to go along with this, number 6, what it's asking for is, what's the average variable cost when Bob serves 6 pints? There's the variable cost, 15. Average variable cost is just the variable cost, 15, divided by the quantity is 6. So that's 2.5, right? $2.50. And so that's going to be D. Right. 6 is D here. So the variable cost for each unit, on a per unit basis is essentially 2.5 here is what we're saying. Okay, so this could be any, that's the way you'll get it. You're going to get a problem like this. You need to make sure you fill out this whole thing over here, because all you got to use your total cost equals fixed cost plus variable cost. And then, you make sure you can find out, what's the average. And that's just you take the fixed cost and you divide it by the quantity here in this leftmost point here. Now, marginal cost, this is looking at, okay, you can either look at variable cost or total cost. It's this change from one unit to the next. This first one's 3. Second one's 3. 6 to 9 is 3. 9 to 11 is 2. 11 to 3 is 2. 13 to 15 is 2. 15 to 18 is 3. 18 to 21 is 3. It's this additional cost that's going on. And you could look at either one of these, the total cost or the marginal or the variable cost to do that. Okay. So make sure you know how to do that. You're going to get some problems like that. And if you do, that's simple, correct points that you'll get. All right. Just need to make sure you can do it. All right. So number 7. Economists normally assume that the goal of a firm is to earn profits as large as possible, even if it means reducing output. So would I be true? Sometimes you can reduce your output, increase the price, and increase your profits, depending on what kind of market you're operating in. So yeah, that's the point. Like, you want to make your profits as large as possible. That's what you care about, not increasing your output the most. Okay, so that one's true. 2, profits as large as possible, even means incurring a higher total cost. Well, yeah, it's your total cost is not what you're worried about. You're not trying to reduce that as possible. What you want to do is you want the difference between total revenue and total cost to be the highest. All right, you're maximizing profits. You want those as big as possible. So 2 is true as well. 3, revenues as large as possible, even if it reduces profit. No, you don't. You don't care about your revenue being as large as possible. Right? You care about your profits. All right, so that's only 1 and 2 only. That's going to be A. All right, 8. When new firms have an incentive to enter a competitive market, their entry will what? When they enter the market, what happens? We draw our market supply and demand. They enter the market, well, that increases supply. And what that does is it causes the price to fall. And since these prices fall, what that's going to do is that's going to cause their profits to fall as well. Now, they're not getting as high a price. If they don't get as high a price per unit, that means they're generating total revenue. Their costs haven't changed just because there's more entering. And so their profits are going to decrease as that. So that drives down profits. And if they're entering, that means there's some sort of positive economic profits. Firms are going to keep entering until it drives it down to zero, essentially. Let's erase this before we do 9. So one owns a lemonade stand. She has 5 inputs: water, sugar, lemons, paper, cups, and labor. Her cost per glass are as follows: water, 1 cent; sugar, 2 cents; lemons, 3 cents; cups, 2 cents; and labor, the opportunity cost is, oh, sorry, 10 cents. I need to change that. It's 10 cents. She could make, the time it takes her to make 1 cup of lemonade, she could make 10 cents somewhere else. All right. She could sell 300 glasses for 50 cents each. Okay, so what are Wanda's total accounting profits? So this is 9. We need to find the accounting profits. Okay. So this is going to be, like I said, just total revenue minus explicit cost. That is stuff that's actually written down. All right. So that's going to be these right here. These are explicit costs. The opportunity cost of her labor is not explicit. It's not, an actual cost that she has to pay for. So that's not going to go in accounting profits. But you do, as a person, you do keep that in mind. It's like, it's always a choice between doing different things. Okay. So let's find these accounting profits. Total revenue is 300 times 0.5 minus the explicit cost. So it's 300 times 0.01 plus 0.02 plus 0.03 plus 0.02 plus 5, 7, 8. 300 times 8 cents. 300 times 50 cents is $150. 300 times 0.08. That should give you $24. So her accounting profits are going to be $126. And that's B. All right. Now let's do number 10. That's what are her total economic profits? Well, economic profits is total revenue minus explicit costs minus implicit costs. That is these opportunity costs. You got to include those as well. And that comes into play with her labor, because she could be doing something else making money. This is how you calculate this opportunity cost. So we know this part. We know this is $126. We got to include the implicit cost. 300 times 0.10. So that equals 126 minus $30. And so what does that equal? Well, that's going to be 96. That's the economic profits here, $96. And so that will be C. Whoa. Okay. That's going to be C on that one. All right. Let's erase this. And let's do number 11. In the short run, a firm operating in a competitive industry will shut down if price is what? In the short run, what we're going to look at here, if price is greater than average variable cost, stay open. If it's less than average variable cost, well, then you close down. That's what you're interested in, this variable cost. So in the short run, you can adjust, you're stuck with some of these costs anyway. You just completely ignore those in the short run because you can't do anything about them. All right, so just say, okay, if I stay open, I'll get these additional variable costs and I'll get this revenue. You know, is this price I'm getting more than this average variable cost? Well, that means each unit of production, you know, I'm making a little bit of my money back. It may be possible that you're actually unprofitable, but these losses, it can help you to minimize them sometimes to stay open, even if like your profit's negative here. So in the short run, sometimes it can be better to stay open and minimize these losses as much as possible. So you're going to close here if it's less than the average variable cost. So that's B. 12, when a profit maximizing firm in a competitive market is zero economic profit, accounting profit is at least zero. Accounting profit is always greater than economic profit. Because economic profit is taken out, it's subtracting out these explicit costs, that is, these opportunity costs. And so those are either zero or positive. And so since you're subtracting that out, it's always going to be less than accounting profit. So 12, that's why 12 is B. All right, 13, explicit cost require an outlay of money by the firm. You have to actually see this cost being, you know, other options are include all the firm's opportunity costs. Well, you don't include those, aren't explicit. Include the value of the business owner's time. That's the same thing, kind of the opportunity, you know, those aren't going to count. They aren't looking at those. Those aren't part of it. That goes with economic profit, not accounting profit. And economic profit includes these implicit costs that aren't explicit like this. The cost of producing the typical unit of output is the firm's, all right? So this is, okay, per unit. On average, you're taking all your costs. What does it cost to produce this unit of output? So that's going to be always your average total cost. If you're producing 100 units, you know, this total cost that this produces 100 units divided by 100, that gives you your average total cost, which is the per unit cost, essentially. All right, so that's A. 15. In order to sell more of its product, a monopolist must, let's draw this out. Remember, the monopolist's demand curve is downward sloping. If they want to sell more, and their price is here, if they want to sell more than this quantity, if they want to sell here, well, they need to drop it. They must lower the price here in this case, if they want to sell more. And that's why, you know, sometimes well, not sometimes, they'll always produce less than the efficient level because they can reduce production, sell less, but they can mark up the price really high. Okay. So let's see. So that's about halfway through here. What we'll do is I'll stop here, and then I'll make another video doing the remaining questions on here. All right.